Tonight on Sports Paws, women's soccer competes in the MAAC tournament.
And men's and women's basketball get underway in non-conference play for the year.
ECAC play continues for men's and women's ice hockey. This is a stacked show, so let's get to it. Sports Paws starts right now. Welcome to yet another episode of Sports Paws. I'm Keenan Mills. Alongside me is Beckett Calkins.
It was an action-packed week for the Bobcats, so Keenan, let's get started with some women's soccer in the MAAC tournament.
The Bobcats first played Canisius in the MAAC semifinals for an opportunity at the championship game. Let's roll right into it. The Bobcats are coming off of a bye week after clinching the number 1 overall seed in the conference as they take on the Canisius Golden Griffins. To qualify for the game, Canisius took out the Ryder Bronx in penalty kicks in the MAAC quarterfinals. After a scoreless first 45 minutes of soccer, we jump ahead to the second half as the game is scoreless to this point, but the Bobcats are on the attack as the nation's leading scorer, Rebecca Cook, takes the ball up the field. A shot goes deflected out to a fellow Bobcat who is trying to take an attack of her own. She'll take it in the 18, and a foul will be called on her inside the box. It'll be a penalty kick. Courtney Chokel will stand over this one, and she takes the shot at Doinks off the left post, in a rebound attempt will be blown dead. We are still tied here in the 79th minute. Just 1 minute ahead here in the second half. The Bobcats are on the move once again. Markayla Bailary weaves her way through multiple defenders and tries to find Cook in the box, but she draws a foul in the box again. The ref blows the whistle, and this is another penalty kick. She stands over it this time. What does she do? She sends it into the back of the net. Rebecca Cook. Let's check out the celebration. Is that a Ronaldo, Selly? Rebecca Cook gives the Bobcats the lead with just 10 minutes left. Canisius has nothing to answer. The Bobcats rejoice after a tough-fought victory. The sportsmanship from Cook, not just a great player, but a great sport as well. The Bobcats move on to the MAAC finals.
The women's soccer team faced Niagara in the MAAC championship this weekend. Could they bring the title home to Hamden? Let's find out. After a loss in the finals last year against Monmouth, Quinnipiac women's soccer has made it back to the MAAC championship. The only team standing in the way of the program's first MAAC title is the team they started MAAC play against in September, the Niagara Purple Eagles. Let's start in the first half now. Going to the 16th minute, it's Courtney Chokel who takes it down in the box and tries to cross it in for Rebecca Cook, but it's deflected by Niagara's Ida Muchele, and she puts it in her own goal, giving the Bobcats the early 1-0 lead. As you can see the celebration there, the only goal of a defensive struggle of a first half. Heading to the second half now, it's Paige Labarge dancing around and feeding it out in front of the net. That's going to be Chokel that gets her head on it. If the keeper can't corral it, Cook gets a chance and misses, but it's the third time. That's the charm as Cook buries it, giving the Bobcats a 2-score lead in the MAAC championship. There's the celebration from Cook again. Here's a clear from Emily D'Annunzio. The Niagara defender fields it and passes it back to the keeper, but she's going to clear it out. The pass is going to be deflected with ease by Courtney Chokel again into the back of the net. The Bobcats are fully in the driver's seat now with a 3-0 lead over Niagara. Once again, it's cleared deep into Niagara territory by Madison Landler. It's mishandled by the Niagara defender, and Rebecca Cook makes her pay the price, scoring her second goal of the day from the nation's leading scorer. Bobcats put the game out of reach with their 4-0 cushion, and they win the MAAC title this year over Niagara.
With the win, the Bobcats are moving on to the NCAA tournament for the first time since the year 2000.
Earlier today, Q30 President Ben Kane caught up with the team at the NCAA selection show, where they found which team they drew.
After a monster performance in the MAAC championship, which saw them beat Niagara 4-0, the Quinnipiac women's soccer team had a full day of nerves as they awaited the selection show to see who they would be facing in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Bring home some more hardware to Happy Valley. They'll entertain Quinnipiac.
It's good for the program. Obviously, it's a tough draw. You're talking about, the 5th team in the country, a team that's won a national championship, a team that's full of like U.S. youth international players. coached by a coach who's been an assistant that's won a World Cup or gone to a World Cup. So, yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's a powerhouse in women's soccer. But, you know, that's truthfully a lot of the MAAC teams and teams at Quinnipiac. That's what you're playing for. That's what you're striving for.
While on paper the Bobcats clearly have a mountain to climb, they still feel they have something to prove heading into Friday's matchup.
I think obviously we're the underdog, so it's like not really a lot of expectations going in, but I think we go in and we do what we can and see what kind of result comes out of it.
And while getting to the NCAA tournament was already high in itself, this team felt they went through many lows that they attribute to their latter success.
We kind of started like really strong, and even like the Iona game was a knock, and obviously you don't want to lose that game, but that's kind of one where you're like, okay, we lose that game 1-0. We didn't want to lose it, but it kind of helped us get more momentum going for the back half of the season, because after that we were like, yeah, we're done losing. That sucked, and that's going to be it. So every time after that, like that next practice, we were like, we're erasing that game, and it's just going to be a restart from here.
While this was just one regular season game, this is not the first time the Bobcats have used the motto forget and move on.
Going to Monmouth last year, we did think that we could win it, and we wanted to win it, obviously, but losing it kind of made this year a lot better when we did win, because we knew exactly what it felt like, and when we came in, we were like, there's no way we're losing this championship game, and we're not going to be doing it at home.
The Bobcats stuck to their motto, and not only did they win at home, they clinched an NCAA berth for the first time since 2000. For Q30 Sports, I'm Ben Kane.
As we just heard from our president, Ben Kane, the Bobcats are ready to return to the NCAA tournament. Quinnipiac will be traveling to Happy Valley to face the Penn State Nittany Lions in the first round of the NCAA women's soccer tournament. The game will be on Friday at 6 p.m. The Nittany Lions won the Big Ten tournament title, defeating the Michigan State Spartans 3-2 in the championship game on Sunday. Penn State finished with a 13-4-3 overall record and a 5-3-2 conference record in Big Ten play.
With the closing of the Women's MAAC tournament comes the end of the men's regular season. The Bobcats face Niagara with a chance to win the MAAC regular season championship. The Bobcats fell to the Purple Eagles 1-0, but the Bobcats still walked away with the regular season championship in the standings. The lone goal of the game was scored by Rodrigo Almeida in the second half with 43 minutes left to play. QU was also outshot by Niagara 6-2. Tomas Svikula and Jason Budai would be the lone shots on goal for Quinnipiac as they lost in a close game in the regular season finale. Despite losing to Niagara, the men's soccer team still picked up several major awards around the conference. The list of award winners for the men's soccer Bobcats was certainly not short. Leading off the list is Golden Boot winner David Bercedo, scoring the most goals in the conference with 11 goals. Eric DaCosta was the winner of the Coach of the Year for the MAAC, and the Rookie of the Year is first-year Alexander Sterngard. Alongside Bercedo and Sterngard is Brog Assen, Tomas Vikula with first-team recognitions, sophomore Sander Sandstrud, and first-year keeper Carl Netzel were welcomed to the conference second team.
Now that the Bobcats have secured the top seed and home field advantage, let's take a look at the full MAAC bracket. The opening round of the tournament took place this past weekend as we saw Niagara and Manhattan advance to the next round, dispatching Siena and Fairfield from the bracket. The Purple Eagles will make the trip to Hamden to play the Bobcats in the MAAC semifinals, with the winner entering the championship game. The other semifinal matchup will see the Gales and the Jaspers go head-to-head for the other championship slot. Moving over to the court, the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team, but the women's basketball team mid-major rankings have been released. Where does Quinnipiac fall in the poll? The Bobcats sit at 8th in the current mid-major top 25 rankings and earned 457 points. They are the only MAAC team represented in the poll. South Dakota State takes first place with 741 points. They are followed by Florida Gulf Coast, Princeton, Gonzaga, and Toledo in the spread. The Bobcats have 5 matchups booked against teams who are ranked or received votes in the poll. The women's basketball season started today against number 10 NC State. Let's see if the Bobcats could pull off the upset. Despite playing competitively, the Bobcats were no match for the number 10 Wolfpack as they took the game 82-45. The Bobcats were led in points by Curtiera Haywood, who put up 8. with 5 rebounds, and Michaela Morris, who scored 6 points and led with 7 boards. The Wolfpack dominated. Forward Jada Boyd put on a show with 14 points and 5 rebounds. The Bobcats will look to regroup against CCSU on Saturday in their home opener.
The men's basketball team opened up their regular season against non-conference play against the University of Rhode Island this evening. The game just ended, so let's take a look at the final score, 67-62. The Bobcats looked pretty good against the A-10 opponent in the Rams. What do you think, Beckett?
Yeah, Ike Noweke with an impressive double-double, 13 points and 11 rebounds for Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac did struggle shooting free throws, though, 9 for 25 on the day.
Yeah, we got to hit the ones at the line. Bouncing back on Thursday against Stonehill University will be the Bobcats. That was just the first third of our show. We still have hockey and much more coming after the break.
We have a lot left in the tank as we go to the rink. We'll be right back here on Sports Paws.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Thank you for staying with us on Sports Paws. There are many Bobcats making their mark in the NHL, and another one was just added to the list. Keith Petruzzelli, former Quinnipiac goalkeeper, just signed a contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The 2021 ECAC Goaltender of the Year was promoted to the NHL roster of the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday. After 4 strong years with the Bobcats from 2017 to 2021, where he posted a record of 49, 27, and 8, Petruzzelli has made the move from the Toronto Marlies up to the big leagues thanks to the injuries on the Maple Leaf roster. He is undefeated in AHL play this year, as Bobcat Nation is excited to see what he can do in an NHL game. Men's hockey began their ECAC conference play with a home game against the Colgate Raiders on Friday. Let's take a look. Colgate Raiders coming to Hamden today as they face off against the Bobcats. Bobcats gather around Yaniv Peretz before the game begins. Not a whole lot of action in the first period. Let's jump right into the second as the Raiders win a battle in the neutral zone, and Alex DiPaolo sets up Matt Verboon for the goal as the Raiders take a 1-0 lead. A little over a minute later, Alex Young slices through the Bobcat defense and slides the puck past Yaniv Peretz to make it 2-0 Colgate, and the lead is strengthened. 5 minutes left in the second period. Quinnipiac begins the comeback on a 5v3 as Zach Metza snipes a shot past Carter Guylander to make it 2-1 Raiders going into the final 20 minutes of hockey. In a chippy third period, the Bobcats power play capitalized yet again as Colin Graff blasts one past Geilander to tie the game at 2 to open the final frame. Ethan DeYoung, again on the power play, would give the Bobcats the lead for good as he lifts a rebound past Geilander and gives the Bobcats a 3-2 lead. That would be all, as the Bobcats would hold on to beat Colgate by the final score of 3-2 in Hamden.
Men's ice hockey beat reporter Matt Mugno met up with two childhood friends of sophomore forwards Christophe Tellier and Christophe Filion, who came to support them in action this weekend.
This evening in Hamden, the Quinnipiac Bobcats defeated the Colgate Raiders 3-2 in their first conference game this season. They won in a comeback victory 3-2, and they were joined by two friends from home from Sherbrooke, Quebec, Canada, supporting Christophe Tellier and Christophe Filion. Right from the warm-up buzzer, Sam and Jeremy brought emphatic energy into M&T Bank Arena. How far back does this friendship go?
Well, we've known him since we were 6 years old. We used to play hockey when we were younger, and as we grew up, we always played together. So then they went to play in the BCHL, and I went in the AJHL, so we split over there, but yeah. Well, we had nothing to do this weekend. We had a week off, so we drove. It's only a 5-hour drive from Montreal, so we came here to see him play, and Christophe Filion too.
The Bobcats mounted a comeback on the back of 3 power play goals. The Sherbrooke natives not holding back their excitement for their friends.
Probably gonna come after Christmas or during the playoff, because we like it here.
Same with him. I'm going to come with him. We're coming in duo. The number 7 Quinnipiac Bobcats take on the number 20 Cornell Big Red in their next matchup. We'll see if the boys from Sherbrooke can bring them good luck as they're here another night. I'm Matt Mugno, reporting from M&T Bank Arena for Q30 Sports.
After a victory over the Colgate Raiders, the Bobcats hope to keep it going against the Cornell Big Red on Saturday. Let's roll the tape. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team looks to reverse fortune after being swept by the Big Red last season, trying to start 2-0 in ECAC play here. We jump right into the first period of play. With the face-off, it's going to be Jake Johnson, whose shot gets deflected off Jacob Quillen. That's going to get past the goaltender Ian Shane and give the Bobcats a 1-0 lead now heading into the second. The Bobcats are still up by 1, but find themselves down 2 men in a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Big Red. Jaden Lee, however, steps up with a massive block right there to help out the goaltender Yaniv Peretz and keep this 1-0 Quinnipiac. Heading to the third period now, it's Colin Graff racing down the ice who finds Quillen again, and Quillen is going to convert on the empty net opportunity there. Bobcats go ahead 2-0, and that's your final score. Bobcats win. A member from the men's ice hockey team earned ECAC Defenseman of the Week honors. Let's see who it was. The captain, Zach Metza, received this award after scoring 1 goal and recording 1 assist on Friday night in a win over the Colgate Raiders. Metza has tallied points in 4 of his 7 games played this year and is also tied for the team lead in power play goals with 2. In 2021 campaign, Metza had 37 points, scoring 10 goals to go along with 27 assists on the season, en route to be named a Hobie Baker Award nominee. After another exciting weekend of men's ice hockey, did the Bobcats have any movement in the poll? Let's find out. Quinnipiac leaps up 2 spots in this poll because of losses handed to Denver and Michigan, who are among the top 3 teams still. At number 1 in the country is Minnesota, receiving 32 first-place votes. Other top teams include St. Cloud State in 4th and Minnesota State in 6th. UConn is now slotted in at number 7, and Penn State moving up 5 spots to number 8. The Bobcats will look to build on momentum in more ECAC play this week against Yale and Brown. Flipping to the women's side of the ECAC, a standout first year received a monthly award for her October performance. Madison Chandler is your ECAC Rookie of the Month after scoring 9 points in 11 games to start her career as a Bobcat. This is her 3rd time receiving an ECAC hockey honor. She also won 2 Rookie of the Week awards and has been turning heads as part of a strong second line for the Bobcats alongside Shay Maloney and Olivia Mobley. Chandler, who is from Ontario, Canada, was a member of the U18 Canadian Women's National Team, where she scored the overtime game winner to secure gold against Finland.
The first rendition of the Battle of the Whitney Ave was this weekend, and it just wasn't any other Yale-Quinnipiac game. This women's hockey contest was between the number 8 Bulldogs and the number 4 Bobcats. Let's see how the game went. In the number 4 Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team paid a visit to New Haven to take on the number 8 ranked Yale Bulldogs. Can the Bobcats improve to a perfect 10-0 record? Let's find out. Starting off just about 8 minutes into an eventful first period, Yale goes into attack mode, and after a scrum in front of the net, Anna Bargman scores for a 1-0 lead to give the Bulldogs an early lead. About 5 minutes later, Yale back on the attack where the Bulldogs shoot and the rebound bounces out to Naomi Boucher to extend the lead to 2. Now it's time for Quinnipiac to get on the offense. Olivia Mobley finds Sadie Pierre, and she tickles the twine, getting her 5th of the season. Moving on to second period action, it's Maddie Samovsvekic on the rush into the O-zone, who finds Maya Labad, and she makes a drop pass to Pierre, who nets her second of the game to tie things up. Now, less than a minute later, Yale on the breakout. They find a wide open Charlotte Welch, who gives it to Karina D'Antonio for her 3rd goal of the season. Let's take a look here as they have the 2-on-1. Yale will send this one home. Welch tacks on an empty netter to ice the upset for the Bulldogs late in the game in their 4-2 win in New Haven. They take the Battle of Whitney Avenue at Ingalls Rink. Coming off the loss in New Haven against the Bulldogs, the women's hockey team travels to Providence to look to bounce back against the Brown Bears. It was a day to be Olivia Mobley, who had a hand in every goal scored. Mobley put 2 in the net and added 2 assists as part of a 4-1 bounce-back win for the Bobcats. Transfer Shea Maloney returned to Providence and scored 3 points against her former team that she captained last season. The lone goal for the Brown Bears came from Olivia Williamson. The Bobcats get a break next weekend before playing Clarkson and St. Lawrence back in Hamden. The split weekend and other action around the women's hockey world led to some movement in the national poll. Let's take a look at the new rankings. The Bobcats dropped from 4th to 5th after losing to the new number 6 Yale. The top 3 remain in place from last week's poll, with Minnesota at 1, the reigning national champions Ohio State sitting at 2, and Wisconsin at 3. A little more ECAC love here as Colgate sits at 4, and the top 10 is rounded out with Northeastern at 7, Minnesota Duluth at 8, Cornell at 9, and Providence at 10. When we return on Sports Paws, we will take a look at some volleyball results, women's golf, and more.
And of course, top 5 plays. Stick around.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Thanks for sticking with us. Now, it's time to check out some volleyball action. Quinnipiac traveled to Manhattan on Saturday to face the Jaspers. They would end up breezing past the Jaspers, beating them in 3 sets. First-year outside hitter Yagmir Ganesh led the way with 10 kills and 10 digs for the first double-double of her collegiate career. She also added a career-high 6 service aces on the day. Meanwhile, Milena Martonen and Ariana Diaz also had their own impact, notching 8 kills each throughout the game. Damala Ganesh also joined in on the fun, leading the team with 27 assists. After sweeping Manhattan in straight sets, the Bobcats continued their road trip against the Iona Gales. The Bobcats pulled off a big upset Sunday against the second-ranked team in the MAAC standings, the Iona Gales, as the Bobcats took them down 3 sets to 1. Generva Giovagnoni had a great performance, pulling off a double-double with 11 kills and 16 digs. The Bobcats were led in kills by Ariana Diaz, who had 14. Damala Ganesh had 47 assists in the contest, and the Bobcats registered 8 service aces. The Bobcats will return to St. Peter's on Saturday. After a big weekend of MAAC play, let's see where the volleyball team lands in the MAAC standings. Quinnipiac sits in 6th place in the MAAC with a record of 8-8. Fairfield is in first with only 1 loss on the season as they clinch the regular season championship. Marist is in second, and right below the Red Foxes are Iona, Canisius, and Siena to round out the top 6 of the standings. The Bobcats will try to close out the season strong and get a good seeding position with their upcoming homestand next weekend.
Kaylee Sakota made her mark in the MAAC for the month of October. She was named Golfer of the Month. Sakota becomes the 2nd consecutive Bobcat to get the award after Leon Peralta in September. Sakota started the month with a 3rd place finish at the Navy Invitational and had a ridiculous performance at the QU Classic in which she won by 11 strokes. She closed the month with another win at the Lehigh Individual.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, the top 5 plays of the week. I'm pumped. Let's get right into it, Keenan.
I'll kick us off here, Beckett. Let's go. We are going to skate right into play number 5 as men's ice hockey took on the Cornell Big Red. Jake Johnson fires one that hits off Jacob Quillen and lights the lamp for the first goal of the contest, and the Bobcats would win 2-0.
Play number 4 now. We're going to take a trip down to Whitney. It's Sadie Peart having a whale of a time as she moves around some Yale defenders there to cut the lead in half, but Yale would go on to win 4-2.
We are now going to kick it to women's soccer for play number 3. Rebecca Cook puts an end to the scoreless draw against Canisius with this penalty kick. And again, let's look at the celebration. Man, oh man, Quinnipiac wins 1-0.
Now, running up to the M&T Bank Arena for some men's ice hockey play. It's Ethan DeYoung calling Graff, going back and forth before Graff puts in the dagger there to tie the game up at 2. Quinnipiac would go on to win this one 3-2.
Back to soccer, back to women's soccer, back to Rebecca Cook for play number 1. A long pass to lone Rebecca Cook down the field. Gets past the Niagara goalkeeper to put the icing on the cake. Quinnipiac goes on to win the championship 4-0 and is now in the NCAA tournament. Beckett, that was a lot. I mean, I'm exhausted. This was a stuffed week of all things Quinnipiac sports. It's time to look at what Quinnipiac Athletics has for the next 7 days.
The men's basketball team will continue non-conference play on Thursday when they face the Stonehill Skyhawks. The women's basketball team will also be in action against CCSU for their home opener on Saturday.
The Battle of Whitney Ave will return again to New Haven, this time for men's ice hockey. The Bobcats play the Bulldogs Saturday night at 7. Then the MAAC play will continue to wrap up for the volleyball team when they host the Rider Bronx on Sunday. Well, Beckett, this has truly been an honor. It has been a blast from start to finish.
Sure has, Keenan. For both of us having our first time on desk, this was an amazing night.
Thank you for joining us, and to everyone behind the scenes that could make the show possible, please follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports or visit our website at q30tv.com for more content. And download the Q30 app, now available on the App Store and Google Play. For Becca Calkins, I'm Keenan Mills. Have a great night.